In this video I would like to briefly explore one of the topics that I was discussing with a student of the private mentoring sessions, and it has to do with unveiling the hidden geometry of simple highs and lows even when they look like complete chaos in a first moment. In chaos theory, the chaotic motion is not random, but it is seen as a higher degree of order that cannot be understood without the proper apparatus. This is the daily chart of the euro, and in a first moment we can see that it is very chaotic. Observe that I marked a few highs and lows, and today we are going to see how the geometry of past highs and lows can shed light into future price extremes, which is something that has obvious advantages for a trader. We are going to see two different ways of predicting the high with the question mark using number 1 up to number 3. We are going to be using different types of pitchforks to do that, since this is the only tool that can unveil the internal geometry of highs and lows while respecting the Newtonian laws of motion. First, we are going to apply a standard pitchfork in the first alternating highs and lows to see what happens. As you can see, the resulting pitchfork has a very steep angle, and according to the Newtonian trading strategy, that's an indication to use different types of forks. We can also see that price fails to reach the center line of this blue fork, and then it drifts away to the right. We can adjust the C pivot of the fork to the next outer drift, but we will notice that the same process happens again. In other words, price fails to meet the center line of the fork, and it drifts away once again. We can adjust the fork a second time to catch the outer drift. At this time we can see that price does reach the center line of the fork almost perfectly. The problem here is that it is sometimes difficult to know which fork you need to trust, so we have to watch for other subtler clues in the chart that will indicate to us that the pitchfork is indeed displaying some symmetry in relation to price. The first is that the candle that creates the C pivot and the candle that touches the center line of the fork are both fractal candles. The other clue, which is a little more subtle, is that the BC segment of the fork is actually a sloped support and resistance line cutting through price. We can see price respecting that line as resistance, and then breaking it to treat the line as support. This is the type of thing you should be looking when drawing pitchforks, and you will be amazed at how accurate these tools can be. Let's go now to the second way we could use forks to predict that high in the chart. Notice that we are not talking about trades in here. We are simply diving deeper into one aspect of the analysis just so you can understand how multilayered analysis happens. If you remember the original standard fork I drew from 1 to 3, you would recall that it was too steep. In that case we can use a modified pitchfork. By drawing the modified fork we can notice a few things. First is that the center line of the fork is actually showing amazing frequency, as we can notice by the constant poking. The second thing, which is similar to what happened to the standard fork, is that we have what's called a frequency shift happening in this fork. Observe how these two lows violate the lower line of the fork in roughly the same way. By using the frequency shift technique in the Newtonian trading strategy, we would adjust the fork by bringing its lower line at the extreme of the frequency shift. By doing that, we preserve the internal angle and dimensions of the fork while adapting it to the most recent frequency of the market. As you can see, this frequency adaptation would predict that high with good accuracy. Notice that in both outer lines of the fork we still have fractal candles, which is what happened in the other fork we discussed. Let's draw the two pitchforks at the same time so you can see how they intersect in the same point. Observe how two forks using two different perspectives point to the same area. That would be a great element in a broader contextual analysis, and as far as line work goes, it doesn't get much better than this. Please keep in mind that all of this is just part of finding high-quality trade opportunities. You don't want to buy or sell based just on pitchfork lines. You need other price action elements supporting what your pitchforks are telling you, as you probably already know if you watch the videos of this channel. Keep in mind also that all of this work is just regarding the high in question. We can do this type of thing for every single market extreme. I hope you learned something useful with this video. If you want to learn how to trade, please visit my strategy store in the link available in the video description. If you wish to watch more videos like these in the future, please support the channel by clicking the like button, subscribing to the channel, and leaving your comment below. Thank you for watching.